I just want to correct something that I think I did not address anything with appointments. And I understand the passion you feel on this, and I feel somewhat sympathetic to that, considering some of the experiences I've had with appointments. What I was asking the witnesses was on the process with the RFP, and I take Ms. Gibson at her word that it doesn't say when you do a request for proposals whether the proposer is a Democrat or Republican. And I'm assuming that when the projects come forward, you don't ask the proposers if they're Democrats or Republican. And it's been alluded in the whole discussion with LCCMR that there's things involved. I think Mr. Chair, you provided some clarity about concerns ready to the appointment. What I was asking about was with the process, the request for proposals, when folks come forward and testify and ask for money, and they all are asking for money, and when there's that give and take with the members of the committee, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, citizens, or legislators, is there anything in that portion? I mean, I don't sit on LCCMR, I haven't ever. So is there anything in that 2 years, the last 2 years, or even the last year in developing this proposal? That's what I was asking about, Mr. Chair. And so I understand what you've said about the appointments, and if I was unclear, I apologize for that, but that's what I was at. I'm trying to get an idea of when the people of Minnesota come forward to respond to a request for proposal, if there was mischief there. And that's what I was asking.
Well, Representative Hansen, I repeated your words. I wrote them down. You used words of flawed political process and thorough and fair. I just repeated your words that you used. If you didn't mean them, that's good that we give an opportunity to clarify that. And if you want to talk about the history of LCCMR, which you asked, when majority has changed in the past, I believe previous Mr. Morris, who's still around the Capitol here, was, if I'm not mistaken, a Democrat chair, Senate. He was a Senate, and I believe when he came involved, there was significant changes to LCCMR. I believe that was before the days of former Commissioner Mark Holston, who became chair of the House Environment Finance Committee, I believe probably sometime in the 90s when the majority changed. And I think there was significant change to LCCMR then. As I've been real honest through the process, this is a bill that was developed by the previous folks that were in charge. There's new people that we have to answer to now that serve on this committee and serve in the Minnesota House, and I believe we have to bring a bill forward that's reflective of the people that are here today. And for us just to say, well, this was the bill that was done last year. Just do it again, Representative McNamara. Be quiet. Don't speak up. Don't question the projects. You should be quiet. You know, you should be a good member and just sit down and be quiet and do this. We worked hard on this process. You know, it's too bad. You should just be quiet, sit down. Don't evaluate these projects. Don't question if $147,000 worth of sprinkling cans and garden hoses is right. Just be quiet, sit down, and it'll be okay. You should just not talk. I'm sorry, the people in 57B didn't send me here to do that. What happened previously is not reflective of the wishes today, and it's my intention to move forward, have discussion, let these people have their way. But folks, don't tell me that I'm getting political now, because I can play this game as good as anybody. And I've been real good at doing it and been real honest about doing it. You need to go back and talk to some of the people that I've talked about and ask how the process was before we got to where we are today. And I'm willing to go with you and be very honest up front right here, right now, if it hasn't been fair and honest. Further discussion, Representative Hansen.
Mr. Chair, I asked the witnesses if there was anything flawed and political in these processes, and you're correct, and I'm not going to walk away from that. And I got an answer that there wasn't anything. You're talking about appointments. It appears that you're carrying that appointment issue into this discussion with this bill and these amendments. What I heard from the witnesses is that the process that the citizens and the proposers and the scientists and the groups that brought forward, that there wasn't anything political in that. Is that correct? Ms. Gibson, is that correct?
Representative Hansen, back to your point, Ms. Gibson, Ms. Thornton, you don't serve as the executive director of it or as a citizen appointee politically. Representative Hansen has asked you if there was politics involved in that process. I don't believe it's an appropriate question for you to answer, but I will tell you absolutely there was politics involved. The LCCMR developed a list of priorities that were reflective of previous political philosophies and folks involved on LCCMR. That's not the folks that are there today and in the legislature today. I know that's hard. It was very hard for me a few years ago to sit back and have a philosophy and a belief that didn't prevail. Now I want to have a good, honest discussion about where we're at today. But to ask them if the process was political, Representative Hansen, when we look through these projects, the folks that serve here in the legislature and the citizens are going to get a chance to see if they were political. I think the answer is going to be in these projects. Are they reflective, truthfully, of the legislature, or are they reflective of a few people that had a lot of influence over LCCMR? And are they the projects that we should have been included in the LCCMR project today? That's what I'm trying to move that discussion forward. I don't know where we're going to end up, but it's a discussion that this legislature should have, not one from 2 years ago.